What did we put on our shopping list? Oh, what a mouth-watering smell. Paimon, we can still...
Well, if it isn't the Traveler and Paimon. Wasn't expecting to see you here.
Hello there.
Huh, so you two are still hanging out together. Dia, didn't you say last time that you were gonna head...
I said I was going to resign from being her bodyguard, not that our friendship was over. We're still the best of friends. The Holmayanis also still post jobs from time to time. Their pay is always generous, so me and the other mercs never pass them up.
I told Dia to just stay at our place when she took one of those jobs a few days ago. My parents were delighted. They even said that it always felt like we were missing someone whenever Dia wasn't around.
That sounds like something they would say, all right. They're always so welcoming. Anyway, the job is already taken care of, so I was gonna head back to the brigade as soon as I finished a little shopping. But the master kept insisting, and I ended up staying for another day.
You can stay for as many days as you want, Dia.
You know I'm not the kind of person to stay put in one place like that, my lady. Don't worry, though. There'll always be next time.
What? She said they'll treat you to the best...
But wait. Didn't you say last time that you would take me on a trip? There are so many places I still have...
I'm sorry, my lady, but no can do. There's still a few things I need to take care of back at the brigade. Besides, the desert hasn't exactly been the most peaceful place lately.
Oh, come on. Not this again. That's also what you said last time.
I know, I'm sorry. Just give me some more time, and I promise I'll plan the best trip ever for you.
All right, fine. To be perfectly honest, it's not that I wanted to go, it's ever since you first set foot on the estate a few days ago. Have you been delaying our trip because you've run into some kind...
Nah, are you kidding? You're worrying too much.
Would you swear on that? Friends shouldn't lie to each other, you know. I wouldn't pry any further, but if something really is bothering you...
Oh, looks like...
You're too perceptive, my lady. Seems I can't hide anything from you. I just thought that nothing good could come out of telling you about the messy happenings of mercenaries. Knowing too much only leads to more trouble. Mercenary life is a dog-eat-dog world where Mora reigns supreme. Everything operates on a completely different set of rules.
That doesn't change anything about what I just said, though. We're still friends.
My lady, you're not gonna stop until you drag it out of me, are ya? All right, I'll share what I know. Let's go somewhere else first. Okay, let's talk here. Just try not to draw any extra attention. As you may already know, the Eremites have both a lot of mercenaries and a complex organizational structure. Many mercs are no different than me, just going around looking for jobs to earn some mora. My brigade is called the Blazing Beasts. We're not a large group, but every member is loyal and brave. However, not all Eremite brigades are like mine. Some are willing to cross all kinds of lines for the sake of mora. The most notorious is a faction known as Deshret's Relics.
Deshret's Relics? Judging from the name, they must really look up to...
Yep, you got it. I've heard that you've already crossed paths with Ain al-Akmar. They're one of the groups under the Relic's banner.
Oh, you mean the group that tried to sell us the Divine Knowledge Capsule? Yeah, they weren't friendly at all.
Deshret's Relics is composed of many smaller brigades like Ain al-Akmar. The Relic's headquarters issues orders to all brigades under his control. On any other day, I would want nothing to do with them. Unfortunately, though, the brigade that's stirring up trouble now is none other than Dakan al-Akmar.
Dakan?
I think it means beard or something. Believe me, it's a really stupid name. I found it insufferable for years. Anyway, the real issue is that Dakan al-Akmar is led by my father, Kusela.
Say what now?
I think I'm starting to understand your anxiety now.
I won't go into details, my lady, but they've been involved in a lot of violent incidents. We're talking hundreds.
Hundreds? Hundreds?
Yep. The scenes tend to be quite gruesome, too. They strip the victims of all their valuables before murdering them. Not only have they targeted merchant caravans and ordinary citizens, but other mercenary brigades as well.
That's beyond terrible. They won't even spare their own...
I don't know how Deshret's relic sees it. All I do know is that Dakan al-Akmar has become more and more aggressive over the last few years. If I don't do something about them, then even my brigade or the people of Aru village could become their next target. I just wish I knew what's driven him to do this.
Yeah. How can your father do such terrible things?
I don't know. People change. He's always been pretty pathetic. But at least in the past, there were still a few lines that he wouldn't cross.
That's setting the bar pretty low.
I mean, if he was even remotely decent, then why would I have to leave the brigade and cut all ties with him? He was loud and foolish, with no real sense of purpose. Instead of doing anything useful, he spent most of his time drinking and chasing after women. Of course, the other brigade members were just like him. Their ruckus would go on night after night.
Sounds like a night.
What about your mother?
Unfortunately, I never knew my mother. It's all right, my lady. That's pretty common in mercenary circles. Didn't I mention that my father was chasing after women? I was the result of one of those encounters with some random person. He told me that he wasn't sure who my mother was. And in any case, she never came to see me. He'd say, "You'll be fine as long as you remember to stick with Dad." But even then, he left most of the parenting to the brigade. The one thing I do remember is that he used to tell me stories. But the problem was that he had terrible taste. He only knew a few stories, and even those tended to be pretty stale. They were tales of desert warriors defeating dragons in the forest, or stories of mercenaries rescuing princesses from rebel armies.
Sounds like your typical fairy tales.
They were interesting maybe the first or second time around, but after about 20 repeats, they started to get a little dull. He seemed to think those stories were the best things ever, though. He was so into them that he'd call the whole brigade over and make them perform the whole thing as a play. Even the toys he gave me would all be story props. I'd get helmets, shields, and toy swords. It was only much later when I realized that the shows were more for him than they ever were for me.
What an interesting guy.
Yeah, I've always found him pretty childish, but that was something I could just shrug off. I had no reason to despise him. Until I grew up and learned the true face of Deshret's relics for myself. Looting, blackmail, violence, and fraud. They not only accepted such heinous acts, they would even openly boast about them. No one in the brigade was any kind of hero. Instead, my father and his cronies were more like the bad guys that needed to be taken down. Did they really think that as long as they didn't do any of that stuff right in front of me, I would never know?
I think I can understand your feelings.
Yeah, but don't worry, my lady. It's all water under the bridge to me now. I had a huge argument with my father and left that place behind for good. I'm not investigating them due to any bitter feelings I still have towards my father. I just want to protect those that are close to me. Yeah, I told the boys to gather as much information as they could. Most of the reports concern violent incidents, but there's also some talk of smuggling.
I see. But isn't this investigation incredibly dangerous?
It is, but every mercenary lives life on the edge. It's a lifestyle that I enjoy.
That may be true, but
Well, now you get why I didn't want to share any of this with you.
What should we do? They both have valid...
Huh? But there's no need for you to get caught up in this mess, too.
Well, she's super tough, so if she went into the desert with you, then Paimon bets the problem will be solved in no time.
I'm inclined to agree. I'd feel a lot more at ease if you took her along. I'll wait for news from you in the city.
I'm honored that you care so much for me, my lady. All right, then let's get moving. Our first stop will be Caravan Rebot, where we can catch up a bit with my fellow mercs.
Hey, Dia, you're back. Are these two friends of yours? Oh, so anyway, since we've got a newcomer, they've become extremely aggressive. They even attack other relics brigade.
Even the most ferocious beasts still protect their own. But it sounds like they've thrown that straight to the wind.
That's right. Once they've collected a portion of their profits is immediate.
That's terrible.
Yeah, and it really makes you wonder why there's... A few days ago, a shaman I trailed them for a while. Rather than saying they're out to plunder and...
Wait, a power struggle?
You heard me right. The vast majority of their victims are... If their only goal was Mora, they could have gone after anybody. The targeted nature of their attack... Unfortunately, we weren't able to... Oh, one last thing we discovered was that over the past few years, as the Khan al-Ahmar became...
It sounds mighty strange to me, too. Gotta say, though, I didn't expect you to go on a whole undercover mission during the few days I was gone. Sounds like you were...
Nah, it was nothing. We're just as concerned about the situation as you are. The Khan al-Ahmar is your father's crew, after all.
What he said. Besides, Dia, haven't...
Yeah. And while they went to talk with Dakan, any survivors of the attack?
Ah, Hisham and Khalaf.
We rushed over as soon as we saw you come into Caravan Rebot. Although this new friend of yours looks a little green behind... Now that we know you'll have a capable partner with...
Hey, what about Paimon?
Oh,
Of course, Paimon.
Oh. In that case...
Don't underestimate Paimon.
Don't worry about her. She may look tiny and helpless, but she's been through just as many battles as the Traveler here. Even if she had only survived on sheer luck, then that alone would still make her quite formidable.
I had no idea. I guess I shouldn't judge...
Oh, one other thing, Dia. We held another recruitment event a few days ago, but everyone only came to see the Flame Mane. The deputy put a lot of effort into the event, but it was based...
Sorry to hear that. I'll be sure to bring him some great liquor next time. I left in a hurry and I couldn't make it back in time for the event.
Gotta admit, I can understand their... Now, if only the deputy could figure out a way...
Keep dreaming. Remember the last time I invited a couple gals into the brigade? You all just froze up with your mouths gaping like a bunch of scarecrows. The awkward silence and weird expressions left in joining us, but after that, they both told me they were too uncomfortable to stick around.
Hey, didn't we agree to never bring that up again?
Huh? Wait, are you serious? Why have I never...
I don't think...
Are you kidding me? I missed a once-in-a-lifetime moment like that, and you weren't even gonna...
All right. We can tell you about it later. Now's not the time.
Hey, don't you try to change the subject. You and Hisham get your butts over here.
Are they... Oh.
More or less. There aren't many rules or graces when it comes to mercenaries. We're used to just speaking our minds. If someone starts getting under your skin, you just yell right back at them. And if that doesn't put an end to it, then you just challenge them to a fight. But we also don't tend to take many things too seriously. Being direct and getting it all out of your system as soon as things come up is better than keeping everything bottled up, never talking about it. That's also why I never spare their feelings when I talk to them. If I want to laugh, I'll laugh. If I'm angry, then I'll unload on them. It's hard to stop once you get used to it. Though, I can never do that when I'm with the Homiyanis. Hey, knuckleheads! Can you at least tell me the rest of the intel before you go back to your bickering?
Yeah, you hear her, Holof? Told you we gotta focus on the investigation. All you gotta do is wait and...
Perfect. Thanks for that. Be sure to pass my regard.
Will do. You stay safe, Dia.
This should be the place. Let's find a spot to hide and bide our time. It's gonna come down to a fight one way or another, so let's all be careful.
No need to worry. She knows her way around a fight.
I'm not worried about that. What I meant is that we probably shouldn't go too hard on the enemy. After all, we still need to get information out of them. Here they come. You ready? Let's not give them a chance to react and end this quickly.
That's close enough. Feeling lucky today?
Buckle up!
Where do you think you're going? Come on, coward!
Shine down!
This one.
Cascade!
You're... the Flame Mane.
Good. That saves me an introduction. All right, time for a little talk. Are you buddies with Dakana Lakmar now? Tell me, what are they after?
You know the code of being a mercenary just like everyone else.
That might have worked on an amateur, but I know you're just looking to protect your reputation. Think about it, though. What's your reputation worth if you won't have the other tools you need to succeed in this line of work? Tools like, I don't know, your limbs or eyes? You've got 5 seconds. You might want to think twice about how much your employer's information is worth to you.
Whoa!
I'm not joking around. We can do this the easy way or the painful way. 2 seconds!
I'll save you the trouble.
Huh? Are you crazy? He tried to bite off his own tongue. Quick. I definitely didn't expect him to go that far. Thankfully, the wound wasn't too deep, and he just passed out from the pain.
What? Why would
I just wanted to test his mettle. You can get a lot of mercenaries to talk just by threatening them. I didn't expect him to be willing to go through so much pain just to deny us some intel.
Well, he's out cold for now. We could wait for him to wake up.
Yeah, don't worry about it. It'll be a waste of time to interrogate him again after that. He might just hurt himself again if we start asking. There are lots of goods around here. Let's search the area. Maybe we'll be able to find something. I'm really sorry.
We found a piece of paper with a bunch of names on.
Let me take a look. If this really is a merchant caravan, they should have a record of their transactions. Yep. I see an entry for Dakana Lakmar right here. Kusela, Idrisi, Bashar, and Takriti. All familiar names. Dakana Lakmar has been trading for a hefty supply of food, weapons, and medicine. It seems that in the past, they used to receive some canned knowledge as well. This caravan is just one link in their logistics chain. Once in the rainforest, the caravan will exchange the looted goods for mora, and the funds will then be passed to a specific person. That person will then pack the caravan full of necessary goods, which will then be brought right back to Dakana Lakmar. Wait, why is there no mora value recorded for the final transaction?
No.
Yeah, every transaction before the last one was marked with an exact amount of mora, but the final one, where they paid for everything to be brought back to the desert, was simply marked as delivered. Perhaps. But they couldn't have known how much they would make off selling the loot. Do they not care about profit margins at all? Anyway, the next part's the records of the goods themselves. There are a lot of entries. Everything was probably sourced from the rainforest. Huh?
What's wrong?
Shahzaman Homayani?
Homayani? You mean,
I'd be surprised to find someone with the exact same first and last name. Shahzaman Homayani is Dunyarzad's father, and the head of the Homayani family. Just what the heck is going on here? I'm sorry, you're right. I'll consider what we found and not jump to conclusions just yet. But what this piece of paper confirms is that the Homayani family has been providing goods to Dakana Lakmar.
What if the Homayanis have been kept in the dark and don't know?
That's a possibility. But if that was the case, why is this caravan specifically named Shahzaman as their person of contact? They could have just as easily bought goods such as food and medicine directly from Caravan Ribat or Port Ormos. Yeah, funding violence and looting. The brigade gets the goods, and he is paid the proceeds from the sale of the loot.
But why would he do something like this?
I honestly have no idea. I've been to their estate many times, and I've never noticed anything suspicious. The only potentially large expenditure I could think of would be the treatment costs for Dunyarzad's Elazar. Maybe they borrowed a lot of mora in the past, but that's still just a speculation. I don't think the master would stoop so low to make mora. You're probably right. I know my lady's personality, and she wouldn't deliberately keep something like this from us.
But what should we do now?
If you ask me, we already have no choice but to confront her about this. I'm not worried. It's too early to make a verdict yet. I still have faith in the Homayanis. Let's go find my lady again. We'll tell her everything and see if she's willing to lend us her support. If we're lucky, we can not only figure out the mystery of this paper, but also follow the trail of breadcrumbs to the people responsible at Dakana Lakmar.
Dia, are you sure this is...
I've considered that possibility. But even still, I want to tell her what we found. I think I owe her that much. True, she showed genuine concern for me when we first brought up the topic. I can't repay her kindness with doubt and suspicion. That's not how I deal with people.
You're right. Paimon wants to trust Dunya's...
Yeah. Let's pay another visit to Sumeru City. We're back, my lady.
Oh, you're back a lot sooner than I expected.
Actually, we are still investigating. It's just that we've discovered something strange.
I see. The clues you've...
Something like that.
You all look a little... Why don't you discuss it with me?
It's okay, my lady. It's not so much about me being upset with my father or anything like that. How should I put this?
So something is wrong. Even the travel... On any other day, Paimon would have already waved to me with a smile. So tell me, what
Well?
My lady, please prepare yourself for what we're going to tell you next. It concerns the Master.
The Master? Okay, I understand. My father has been supplying goods to Dakan al-Akmar?
Yeah, it makes as little sense to us as it does to you. I've never doubted the Master's integrity, so I'm having a real hard time rationalizing how he could ever support an infamous brigade like them. Maybe he's not actually aware of the full story and just stumbled into the deal by accident.
I can't help but agree with the Traveler.
Huh? Yep.
Thank you for sharing all this information. Since you've told me everything you know, in the past, I thought that my father hired a bodyguard for me so that I wouldn't run away and get lost. However, there are plenty of capable mercenaries in the Corps of 30. Why did my father go out of his way to hire Dia?
About that. Well, the Homiyanis really needed bodyguards, so they reached out to the Blazing Beasts. Later, the Master told me that I was one of the best mercenaries he'd ever seen, and that I should stick around to become one of his bodyguards. He offered me a pile of Mora, so I just signed on.
Well, but that didn't really answer my question. Just think about it. Why did my father specifically...
Maybe the Corps of 30 just didn't have anyone available, or maybe someone recommended us. I've never given it too much thought. I think I get what you're saying. You'd think none of this was a coincidence.
Precisely. At first glance, if my father had always been in contact with Dakan al-Akmar...
You mean the goal all along was to get...
No, that's too much of a stretch. I cut all ties with my father a long time ago. He has no control over my life anymore.
But that still doesn't rule out the
So, the Master was not likely an innocent victim in all of this?
Sorry we put all this on...
It's okay, Paimon. I should... Regardless of his reasons, if my...
But is that really the right thing to do? My father has committed many atrocities and deserves all the punishment that he has coming to him. I have zero sympathy for him. However, the Homiyani family has treated me with nothing but generosity and kindness. If we decide to investigate this further, we could end up implicating the entire Homiyani family. I would be biting the hand that's fed me over all these years.
Tia...
It's all right, Dia. If anyone were to...
You don't have to do that, my lady. I'm not conflicted because I'm afraid of taking responsibility. Besides, you're the one we should all be worried about right now.
Hey! It's still too early to give up hope! What was that thing about friendship again? Right, yeah, trust! Besides, there's no point on getting all riled up before we've confirmed all the facts!
Thank you, everyone. That makes a lot of sense. I guess I should always remember the trust that I've placed in people. In which case, my lady, could you ask the Master to come out and have a chat with us?
Sure thing. I also hope...
Thank you for coming, sir. Please allow me to introduce these two.
Yes, my daughter. But we may skip all the pleasantries.
Well, we wanted to bring this transaction record to your attention. There's something on this record that we're all pretty curious about.
So, that's what you found?
If you wouldn't mind, we'd like an explanation.
Well, it's a long... What I do know, though, dear, is that the truth...
Wait, me?
Yes, I understand perfectly why you came to see me. But knowledge always comes at a price. Your father, Kusela, and I both believed that. Of course, you have the right to seek. The facts of this matter may reduce everything you've built for yourself. If you must proceed...
His heartfelt efforts... I'm sorry, sir, but I'm not sure I follow. I've made it this far in life without a single drop of my father's support. I have my own ideals and ways of looking at the world, as well as people and causes that I've chosen to cherish and fight for. None of these things have anything to do with him. I came here today to support you as the head of the Homayani family. No warning will change my stance on that.
I understand. Our family once needed to take a trip to the desert when they had superior numbers and quickly overpowered our bodyguards. Those Eremites were Kusela's men told me that the attackers were Eremite mercenaries, just like Kusela was grinning and walked over to play with baby Dunyazad.
Really?
He said that he had no particular reason to help us. He just took... We started talking about our children, and I to repay his kindness.
So, that's what happened.
It was many years before I saw him again. I almost didn't recognize him the next time he came knocking on my door. The man I knew to be strong and healthy had been reduced to a shell of himself. He couldn't even walk anymore without his cane.
So, what happened to him? He was perfectly fine when I left the brigade.
I'm not too sure myself. He then suddenly asked me if Dunyazad, now that she had grown, would need a... At the time, but he kept coming back to the topic. Come on, I was completely lost at first, until he
So he was the one who recommended deity.
Indeed. He didn't say it out loud, but it was clear that he saw Deshret's relics as an evil group who would eventually... He was already beyond redemption, but he hoped that if Dia could stay in my house and keep working as a bodyguard...
And that's why you offered her.
Yes, but not just... And that's also why I tried to persuade you to... Kusela saved my daughter and I all those years ago in the desert.
He was always like that, acting like he's oh so smart and self-righteous.
Kusela said that he'd reimburse me for a portion of Dia's fees. I refused. Eventually, I just accepted them as a token. The letter contained a request to help...
Wait! Isn't that a...
That's right. When I started to... But by then, he was no longer receptive to my requests to talk. That thought occurred to me as well. After some deliberation, I decided to send him some... I am aware that even such a... In the end... It probably would.
If you can, please tell me where. None of the things he's doing right now make any sense if he's just trying to keep me from getting tangled up in his world. If all he wants to do is steer clear of me, then maybe he shouldn't have brought me into this world in the first place.
Oh no, Dia...
I'm just angry because I can't wrap my head around any of his actions. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't think I can do it. But... I guess you do have a point. We haven't uncovered the whole truth yet. We still need to figure out his exact actions and reasoning for these last few years.
I'll do my best to help. Of course, anything between the two of you would need to be resolved between you and him alone. I don't know Kusela's exact whereabouts. However, there's a man on the list named Jawed. He's responsible for supplying weapons, and I've heard that he likes to have a few...
Understood. Thank you, sir.
I'll stay and be with my father here. My father has indeed done something wrong. I feel like...
Yes. It's time to face.
Who are you guys?
I know what you've been up to. Smuggling weapons to violent brigades in the desert while working for the Corps? Pretty bold, if you ask me.
Shh. Keep your voice down. How do you... Come with me. We should take this elsewhere. I'll be happy to talk things over once we're somewhere private. This place should do. All right. Back to my question.
Don't worry about that for now. You know what kind of punishment you'll face once we report you to the Corps, I assume.
Wait. There's no need to jump the...
So what's in it for...
Well, I was a little... I waited in my mind, and I couldn't find...
Let me tell you how it is. We're investigating Dukan al-Akmar, and we're gonna put an end to their operations. If you provide some help for us, then we might just put in a good word later to reduce the terms of your punishment.
Hey, why don't we discuss this a little further?
Shut it. My patience is running out. You should know when a mercenary is after something other than money.
All right, sheesh. But you gotta promise they're always on the move. Feel free to go have a look.
Sure. And then you can forget about any nice words from us.
Hey, come on.
Really? And how do I know you're not leading us straight into a trap? Don't forget, you're the one with no bargaining chips.
All right, I get it. Why don't you go take a look, and if they're not there anymore, I'll try to figure out something else for y'all.
Now that's more like it. Let's move. And as for you, try to stick around the city until we get back. You don't want us to call the folks from the Corps and have them drag you back to the city. Seems like we're in luck. That should be their camp right up ahead. Let's go. We'll finally get to the bottom of this ourselves. I'm here to see Kusela. Tell him to get out here.
Tia, why are you here?
Torn to oblivion!
Let's get it on!
There is no escape! Everybody stand back!
Confess! Be still.
Shine down!
Haven't you all done enough?
Oh, so are you also here to stop us?
Stay out of this. It's got nothing to do with you.
Gloves off!
Illusion shattered!
We all know each other, and I don't want to take things too far. Just bring Kusela to me. There's no use hiding him anymore. Did you understand a single word I just said? Or do I need to bash your skull in some more?
All right, everyone, let's all... Dia. He died.
What?
Seems like you've been out of the loop for a while. Guess that's for the best.
When did he die? What happened to him?
A few years ago, Kusela broke up Dakan al-Ahmar and went to the Deshret's relics.
So is that when you guys started acting?
We would prefer to call it taking revenge. Every last person in Deshret...
Let me start from the beginning.
Overwhelming strength and unquestionable authority?
Those were a part of it, yes. Regardless of whether they joined by their own whether it be their deepest sin, some unforgivable act, or their most immoral exploit. The record, that's precisely it. Every one of us have a record. But you, Dia, you were never asked to provide a record, were you?
I never even knew this was a requirement.
You were probably the only person in all of Deshret.
Ever since you were born, Boss had been trying to not only that, but he also banned all of us. But in the end, he was forced to go to headquarters again and again to...
We all knew he was doing that for you.
And that's why he became a shell of himself and couldn't...
Wait, but that doesn't make any sense. I didn't know about any of this, and I'd never seen him get injured or beaten.
Because you were too young at the time. How would you ever tell between wounds from a beating and wounds from battle? When you left home after that final argument with him, he seemed to age.
So, even the blazing beasts were...
Yep. It was all his doing. Had he not arranged...
A few years ago, Boss said he needed to make another trip to headquarters. I suggested that he hand the role of leadership over to me. His words made no sense to me. But that night, we heard that a massive fire...
Everyone gained their freedom that night. Many members... But how could we leave with a clear conscience?
The boss can't have just died for nothing.
From that point on, the sole purpose of the big fire that Boss started, even though we're outnumbered, we vowed to see our revenge through to the... There were people from headquarters who changed their... But we won't let any of...
We've suffered plenty of losses as well. All we can do is exchange our loot. We forged Boss's handwriting and sent out... We were also able to attract many mercenaries whose Deshret's relics have become weak.
Paimon doesn't know what to say anymore.
We do know right from wrong, but we were sinners from the very beginning. Boss always loved his old-fashioned... We used to always laugh at him for... As for me... But... Maybe those hero stories... Maybe we were all just acting... I'm sorry, Dia.
I'll go with you.
Huh? Dia? You...
I grew up with these guys, and I know they're not bad people. It's just that some situations get so bad that it's difficult to tell good from evil. All I know is that Deshret's relics must be destroyed. Furthermore, I want to go see the place for myself. I want to know if my father is still there. I know you don't want to get involved in this, so there's no need for you to tag along. I can do this on my own.
Yeah, Paimon feels...
Thank you. We'll be a lot stronger together with you.
I bet Boss would lose his mind if he ever knew you'd join us at the very last moment like this.
Considering all the losses and...
He can think whatever he wants. But the fact is, I owe him this much.
sure didn't run into much trouble on the way here. Wow. Paimon didn't expect...
They should all be holed up in here.
Who cares? We'll round up all of them.
Still, we should be careful. Even if they won't...
Yeah, we'll know what they're really capable of once we've landed some hits on them. Deshret's relics may have been a force to be reckoned with before, but their name means nothing now.
Yeah, they don't stand a chance.
You ain't messing around! There is no escape! Illusion shattered!
Cascade! I may have over...
There is no escape! Let's light it up!
Bring it on!
Look alive! Illusion shattered! Shine down!
Can't fool me!
Going in! Let's light it up! There is no escape! Shine down! You asked for it!
Be still.
Illusion shattered!
I'm getting sick of
This way, follow me. We're almost there.
Wait! They went charging ahead without checking for any
Hey, you guys okay?
It seems like we just...
Watch out, the enemy's coming from ahead.
Well, now that...
Don't worry about us. Let's go. We can't let the...
Let's check if there's another way! The sooner we...
Let's see. I think I see a way through over there, but it's being blocked.
Okay, let's go!
Down!
Cascade!
Let's get it on! There is no escape!
Cascade!
Another mechanism like the one before, but this one's being blocked off in the middle.
We just need to adjust it a little.
Kamisato Abi. Suiyu!
Now you shall perish! Illusion shattered!
Confess!
Teamwork is dreamwork! Shine down! Wakura! Hi! Hi! There is no escape! Look alive! There is no escape! Inazuma shines eternal! You're dead meat! Illusion shattered!
The depths beckon!
Buckle up! Hi! I'm going in! There is no escape! Let's get it on!
I wasn't expecting anyone to make it through, but as a desert dweller,
Don't waste your breath.
run. I witnessed the golden age of Deshret. Even now, the greatest should never...
So you want to go out in a blaze of glory.
Let us draw our weapons! We will show they are but two. Wave one! Charge! Eliminate them!
Gloves off! Shine down! Buckle up!
I'll be back. Don't think that you've won. We're just getting started.
That's gonna hurt, and teamwork is dreamwork!
Can't fool me! Be still. Now you're testing my patience.
Illusion shattered!
Pulverize!
You ain't messing around! Shine down!
Cascade. Meet again. Be still.
Illusion shattered!
King Deshret will not abandon any one of his followers.
My patience will meet again.
There is insolent.
Let's light it up! I'm going in!
Shine down.
Your brothers! This is where we prove our faith.
You all just wanna die?
None of us plan to leave this place alive!
Lord of Sand, your sacrifice is ready.
Raise a storm! Let's get it on! Where do you think you're going?
Shine down.
Take that!
Golden
Look
flow.
alive! The commander has finally fallen.
But they're still coming at gladiators.
Yes! Keep fighting!
When the next wave comes, try to draw away their attack. I'm going to see if I can take out that...
Get out of my way!
Come and face me, Michel! So they've...
Apologies, Lord Michal.
Everything.
I will be buried in the sand.
Hey, wait!
We were too late.
It's over. There's... But if you're still going to cling on...
Hey, dear! I found the mechanism. I'll get you all back up here right away.
Let's go.
Who are you filthy rats? And what?
You call yourself a member of the infamous Deshret's relics, and you still can't even tell who's made it all the way to your headquarters?
Who knows what intent a bunch of rats may have? Hey, have you ever heard of a man by the... Why...
This is your last chance to talk.
Hey, if you're here to find someone, why don't you look...
The irony. His life became a light for so many, yet to others, it wasn't even worth remembering. Where's the records room?
It's right over there.
I mean the old records room.
The old records room? Kusela. Watch your mouth. He was definitely faking it. But in the short time it supposedly... He couldn't have possibly outrun... And after that...
Stop wasting our time. Tell me, where is the old records room?
It's just over there. Go see it for... There's nothing left in there but ash. Bashar, Tikriti, let's go. We'll leave the other... Spare them no...
So, this was his final destination. How did he do it? Getting past all the guards with a limp and sneaking in here to start a fire? If he was nimble enough to do that, then he must have been able to get out of here after starting the fire, right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I know it's just wishful thinking. Let's look around. Maybe we can find something that's been left behind.
Is this a cane?
Kusela.
Thanks for everything, boss.
We're fortunate to somehow find...
Let's split up and look around some more.
But what else could survive a fire like that?
Huh? Potso.
Wait! Isn't that the toy sword you played with as a child?
The dragon is no more, for Princess Dia has slain it. Its head now hangs above the city gates. Her bravery has brought eternal peace and prosperity to us all. Dia, come on. This is the most important line.
You can do it.
But Dia, you defeated the dragon. Everyone's waiting for your speech. Still too shy, huh? All right, I'll do it. I hereby proclaim our victory. Evil shall plague us no more.
I hereby proclaim our victory. Evil shall plague us no more, Dad. What's this?
Don't you remember? You asked, and Paimon said that she would get boatloads of tasty... These opportunities don't come by often. So today, Hey, come on! Paimon's not... Anyway, the point is that Junior Zad will also be here
Aw, thanks you two. Honestly, this is very unlike me. I just had a lot on my mind on our way back, so I didn't know what to say. My chest was filled with all kinds of intense emotions. They just shook me even more than all the feelings we've shared during our previous adventures. But when everything came to an end, those emotions also vanished without a trace, and I was left feeling more empty than ever before. It was as if I'd lost the thing that was most important to me. Yeah, you're right. To many mercenaries, Mora is the most important thing in the world. But perhaps to us, it's the most worthless thing of all. Idrisi and the others all used to say that they would quit if there was no Mora to be had. But when it came to avenging my father, there was no Mora to be made anywhere. My reality shattered when I found out that the father who always told me hero stories was in fact a bad guy. But look at me now. Am I any different? Despite all my promises about never forgiving him and never trying to understand him, I still went to such lengths to find out the truth, and nearly even shed tears for his sake. We're hypocrites. All of us. Yeah, you're right. It's just a pity that we often only recognize our true feelings after it's already too late.
You're back! Are all of you alright?
Ah, there she is.
Yeah. Many people from the Corps of 30. Huh? Dia, you're looking quite down again.
Paimon will explain.
I'm sorry.
It's all right, my lady. You were hurt by all of this as well. Truth be told, I'm starting to feel a little guilty watching you cry like this.
Dia, your pain must be...
Hey, don't worry about me. If anything, this whole thing has finally shown me the difference between illusion and reality. My father probably thought that people could settle into new lives as long as they moved to a new environment. That thought has even crossed my mind a few times. It's like saying, what's wrong with adapting to a new life? However, there was always something deep within my mind that refused to accept it. This impulse brought me great turmoil, and even made me feel ashamed for turning my back on your father's kindness. But now that I consider it again, it all makes sense. The desert sands are a part of who I am, and I will never be able to lead a peaceful existence.
I understand how you...
That doesn't mean I won't be making any changes to my life, though. As an example, I'm now thinking about taking on some small odd jobs. It's just like Idrisi said. I also want to catch up to my father and become a character in his play. Even if the ending of the story may be childish and ridiculous, it won't really matter.
Isn't that neat, though? Oh, you'll be a whole new kind of mercenary, one that's not out for Mora. Why don't we go for a change of scenery once we finish eating? What about stopping by the Grand Bazaar again?
Right. You said you wanted to get a rug for your family.
We'll come along too.
I can't thank you enough for taking care of me this entire time.
This rug here is...
Ah, here you are. Finally, I found you.
Hey! Aren't you that mercenary who bit his tongue? Wait.
What are you talking about? Once I woke up, I hurried to the Khan al-Ahmar's camp, hoping to alert them to your... But when I got there, I found no one
So you probably got there after us.
Yeah, they told me that they had exacted their revenge. I had joined the cause to repay an old favor from Kusela. Now that everyone's already turned themselves in, one of the injured members gave this box. Everything left in the camp will get...
Thank you.
No worries. We are all just living our own truths. There's no need to comment or...
So this box contains...
Well, back in the day, the first thing he did with any Mora was spend it on things like drinks and meat. But let's see what's inside. What's this? It's just a bunch of junk. It kinda stinks.
Perhaps?
A handwritten copy of a storybook. The paper's already yellowed, and it looks like it's about to fall apart. It was against the Academia's rules to possess books for personal use. If he was going to break that rule, he could have at least copied something useful.
That probably means this was
And here are a few bags of children's snacks. The packaging's completely deteriorated. Maybe that's where the smell was coming from.
Did he get those for you?
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. Even when I was a child, I was never a fan of these kinds of snacks. He'd always say that he got them for me, but in the end, he always ate more than I ever did. Who even leaves snacks in a box like this anyway? Isn't that just common sense? Forget it. Let me see what else is in here. A razor, some buttons, some round iron tiles, a wooden toy puppet, a wool scarf, which from the looks of it probably belonged to a woman, and a hair clip? Why are these things here? I'm sorry, my lady, but this is just the kind of man he was. He probably saw this box as some kind of personal trash heap and dumped any and everything in there. 2 empty liquor bottles. Tell me, you guys, are these the kinds of things that a normal person would leave behind?
Huh? There's something in the bottle!
Oh, you're right. All right, I got it out. It seems to be a piece of paper with some writing on it. The bottom part's all damaged from moisture, though. Let's hope the writing didn't smudge. I was suddenly seized with an urge to write a letter after finishing this bottle. I just folded it up and left it in the bottle, though. If I end up forgetting about it, it won't really matter. To Dia. It's a letter for me? It's all right. I'll just read it out. If he went to the trouble of writing a letter, there must have been some important things that he wanted to say. Or at least record down.
My condition's becoming worse and worse. Can't even walk without a cane anymore, much less go out and have fun. Guess I don't have many days left. If you're reading this letter, then I suppose I'm already long gone. You were adorable as a baby. Everyone loved you. And regardless of whether you were crying or laughing, everyone enjoyed having you in the group. But once you grew a bit older, you were no longer nearly as happy or cute. It's probably Idrisi's fault. He was never up to any good.
Can you believe this guy? He can point the finger at himself.
Anyway, back to the point. To summarize, I'm writing this so you would know not to feel sad for me, even if you end up finding out the truth. The reason being that I was never your father to begin with.
Wait, what?
Surely,
I don't know.
I was quite formidable when I was young, and 100 times cooler than some so-called flame main. Really felt like the whole world was under my feet. With just a teeny tiny bit of effort. But as fate would have it, I went out into the desert for a drink one day and discovered a baby in the sands. It was you. You were just lying there, small and helpless. You were so tiny that if the wind blew for just a little while longer, you would have been buried forever. But your cries were so loud they made my head hurt. Now that I think of it, you really were a bundle of energy. I told Idrisi and the others that I had slipped up with a woman while out and about. None of them even doubted me. I'm sorry that I had to lie to them for so long, but I really had no other choice. I was their most esteemed leader, after all. It's not like I could just tell them that I suddenly wanted to play at being a father. At this rate, I'll puke up all the liquor I just drank from this bottle. Anyway, Dia, you possess the kind of freedom and kindness that we could only dream of. As far as how you should live your life, that'll be up to you to decide.
That's the end of the letter. In the end, he was still thinking of me as a little child. I suppose, or I would have suffocated under the sand a long time ago.
he was a good father to you. The fact that he wasn't a blood relative doesn't change that.
Yeah. It's just a pity that we had to learn the truth of everything like this.
Do you already have some ideas?
I do. If he first found me alone in the sands, then I want to try my hand at finding the person who abandoned me. I just have one wish. To tell them a story. That there once existed a childish and foolish jerk with a heart of gold. and that only under his care was I able to grow and mature into the person I am today.
If you end up finding any leads, can you share them with us? We go on adventures all the time.
Sure, I appreciate it. I wasn't expecting you to be so enthusiastic.
I'll help too.
Thank you. All of you. Thank you so much. My life has certainly had its twists and turns, but I've always considered myself lucky. Because no matter where I've gone, I've always been surrounded by incredible kindness.